Everyone here knows the basic story of Gan Eden, of the Garden of Eden. God creates the world, and in this new world, God plants a garden in the east, and God places Ha'adam, this being, in the garden. And within the garden, God causes every kind of tree, every kind of plant to grow. And in the middle of the garden, there are two special trees, Eitz HaChayim, the tree of life, and Eitz HaDa'at Tov V'Ra, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And God settles Ha'adam in the garden to care for the garden, but commands him, Mikol Eitz Hagan Ochel Tochel, from all of the garden you can surely eat, Ume'etz hada'at tov v'ra lo tochal mimenu, ki b'yom acholcha mimenu mut tamut. But from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you will surely not eat from that tree, because on that day you will die. Watching Ha'adam in this garden by himself, God says, Lo tov heyot hadam levado e'aselo ezer kenegdo. It's not good for Ha'adam, for this being, to be alone. I will make for him an ezer kenegdo, a proper partner. And so God creates all of the animals, but none are the right partner for Ha'adam. And then God makes Ha'adam fall asleep and divides this being into two beings, Adam and Chava, Adam the earth and Chava life, two halves of a whole, fitting partners to care for each other and for creation. We all know what happens. Of course, the snake comes along and shows Chava that eating the fruit does not cause her to immediately die. And she brings this fruit to Adam, and he also eats it. And they are cast out of the garden and no longer having access to the tree of life. They become mortal. My first semester of rabbinical school, one of my teachers, Rabbi Eddie Feinstein, asked our class a question that has stuck with me and that I revisit every time we begin the Torah again. Why, if he knows what's going to happen, does Adam eat the fruit? Chava is sort of duped into the whole situation, but Adam knowingly chooses to take that fruit from Chava and eat it. And there are many commentaries on this, and the text itself doesn't give us a reason, but Rabbi Feinstein had an answer. His answer was love and companionship. Adam eats the fruit because life with Chava, with his ezer kenegdo, is better than a life lived alone. Our parsha this week begins, Vayiyu chayei Sarah, v'tamot Sarah b'kiryat Arba, Vayavo Avraham lispod l'Sarah ulivkota. And this was Sarah's life, and Sarah died in Kiryat Arba, and Avraham came to eulogize and to cry for her. Avraham lost his ezer kenegdo. He lost his partner, and he needs time to deal with that. But immediately upon going through this process, he looks at his own son and he says, Isaac needs to have in his life what I had in mine. And he sends a servant to find a bride for Isaac, and this servant, with help from God, discovers Rivka, who chooses to accompany the servant back to Avraham, to Yitzchak. And when they approach the encampment where they live, Isaac, having recently returned from Be'er L'Chai Roi, is walking in the fields, which the commentaries tell us was his practice towards evening, and he looks up and he sees the caravan coming, and from the caravan, Rivka sees Isaac walking in the field, and she gets down from her camel and she covers herself with a veil. And the next thing the text tells us, Vavi'eha Yitzchak ha'ohala Sarah imo, v'yikach et Rivka, vatilo li'isha, v'ye'ahaveha, v'yanachem Yitzchak acharei imo. And Isaac marries Rivka, and he brings her into Sarah's tent, and he loves her, and he finds comfort after his mother's death. Rivka and Isaac each make a choice for love and lifelong companionship. And the choice to do that, to be partners, to be companions in life, makes their marriage successful. There is a really wonderful story in the Talmud. Rabbi Yossi ben Chalafta is speaking with a high-ranking Roman matron, and she asks him, in how many days did your God create the world? And Rabbi Yossi says, 6. And she says, well, what's your God been doing ever since then? And Rabbi Yossi says, God is making matches. He's making shidduchim. And the matron is very unimpressed. I can do that. I have many slaves. In no time I can match them up. And she takes 2,000 slaves and she says, this one's for that one and this one's for that one. And by the end of the evening, they've all been matched up. And Rabbi Yossi says to her, might be easy for you, but for God, it's as difficult as splitting the sea. And the next morning, all of the slaves come to this matron, and this one's lost an eye, and this one has a concussion, and another has a broken leg. And every one of them says, I don't want the one you gave me. And the matron summons Rabbi Yossi to her, and she says, your God is unique, your Torah is true, pleasing, and praiseworthy. And you clearly spoke wisely. To be able to find one's true partner is a blessing. In Yiddish, we call it beshert. It means destiny. For some, this seems like a romantic notion. If we could just find our destined partner, it's like a Hallmark movie. Just find our destined partner, it'll be easy. And our stories in our text, our stories throughout history defy that. Our own lives defy that. We see from the story of Adam and Chava, from the story of Abraham and Sarah, of Isaac and Rivka, we see from all of our matriarchs and our patriarchs that it's not easy or simple. And that's why the Torah says, "E'aseh lo ezer kenegdo." I will make him an ezer kenegdo. Ezer means help. Someone to help him. Someone to be that partner. But kenegdo means in opposition. A true partner will challenge you, will help you, will balance you. Each will push the other, sometimes for better, sometimes not so much for better. Upon marrying Rivka, Isaac finds love and comfort. But we know that life isn't simple, and it's not just a straight shot upward. There will be difficulties. That is not to say that life doesn't encompass joy. Our Sheva Brachot, the blessings we recite at a wedding, begin with praise for creation. Baruch atah Hashem Eloheinu melech haolam, asher yatzar et ha'adam b'tzalmo, b'tzelem demut tavnito, v'hitkin lo mimenu binyan adei ad. Baruch atah Hashem yotzer ha'adam. Praised are you, Hashem, our God, ruler of the universe, who creates humanity in the divine image, and made for them an everlasting foundation. Blessed are you, the creator of humanity. We understand that to exist is a divine creation. And then the brachot move on to the sanctity and the joy of marriage. Sameach tismach re'im ahuvim kisamechacha v'yitzerecha v'gan eden mikedem baruch Hashem misameach hatan v'kala, that loving partners shall rejoice as you, God, caused your creatures to delight in the Garden of Eden. Praised are you, Hashem, who causes the groom and the bride to rejoice. To love someone, to love fully, is to experience the gamut of emotions. To challenge, to laugh, to fight, to praise, to love, to be frustrated, to be happy, to be comforted. It is to be all things in the moment to each other, so that if faced with a choice, the choice of Adam, to be alone or to have immortal life, understanding that that life will come to an end, but to have it with a partner, we will embrace this life on this earth, and hopefully we will consider ourselves lucky. Shabbat Shalom.